Hi everyone, Ryan here from Fight Game Analysis, and today we are going to be talking a little bit about the upcoming fight between Colby Covington and Jorge Masvidal. But before we jump into that, if you've been enjoying the content, please go ahead and click on the like button and also subscribe to the channel. Really appreciate your support. Alright, so we have got a big fight coming up about a week and a half out at this point. Main event, Colby Covington versus Jorge Masvidal. Now this is one that fight fans have been figuring was in the making for quite some time. We thought this one was coming. Former roommates, former training partners. They were at the same gym, just really good friends. Like, this one is legit, man. This one, when these guys talk about the bad blood that they got, when they talk about when they want to get in there and tear each other's heads off, it's for real, right? Sometimes we see some fights and some beefs and some rivalries that are manufactured. Sometimes we see some stuff that doesn't feel quite authentic, or maybe it develops, later on, or it's because of the sport. Like, these dudes don't like each other. For real. These dudes don't like each other, and they've got a history. So it's real in that one. It's in that sense. It's good. It's something that we all typically look forward to. Everybody loves authenticity. Nobody loves it when people are fake. Situations are staged kind of situations, are phony. Nobody really likes that much. So in that sense, we get something that's real in this one. Now, one of the big talking points or storylines, maybe would be a better way to put it, but one of the big storylines going into this one is the classic grappler versus striker. We know what each of these men's strengths are. Covington comes from the wrestling background. He was a collegiate wrestler, comes into MMA, continues to wrestle, dominates people with it. Between his wrestling and his cardio, man, he goes out there and he's just able to just step on that gas people and put people down and keep them there. Does great work. Jorge Masvidal, complete opposite, comes from the striking background. Great work, though. All the way back from the backyards in Miami, all the way to now. Main event. Las Vegas. The man's doing great work with his hands at his feet. Think about what he used to fight at 155, comes up to 170, and as you would expect, he's got a speed advantage for the division. And when you see him strike, he's got everything available to him. Look at the work that he did against Kamaru Usman in their first fight. Now I get it, you're saying Usman's a wrestler and stuff, not the best striker. Okay, we saw how the second fight turned out, clearly progressing as a striker. But Usman was probably better than people thought even in their first one, and Masvidal came out there and did very good work against him. You look at the counter punching, the little nuances that he was able to do with those counter punches. The little left hooks and the right hands he's able to land. You look at the way that he's able to get in there and work angles. Masvidal is able to shoot strike. He's able to maybe like shoot a jab or shoot his first strike like a leg kick, something like that. Then he's able to catch a little angle on somebody. He'll take a step, get a little angle, and then throw his second or third strike from that slightly new angle. It's really small stuff. It's subtle. It's just small nuances. But when you're in there, you notice the difference. When you're in there fighting the guy, you're noticing that these things are coming to you at angles and at timing and rhythms that you're not quite expecting. It's a little bit different than everybody else. Then you mix in the speed at which he throws his strikes. You mix in the variety of strikes that he has available to him. Leg kicks inside and outside with both legs. He goes to the body. Really good with his hands. This is bread and butter coming from that boxing background. Shoots a really good counter left hook. Leads well. Got a good lead right hand combination. His striking is there, man. His striking is absolutely solid. It's a very legitimate question to ask. Can Colby Covington stand with him? What if this was a 5-round kickboxing match? Okay, now, we've seen Colby Covington progress with his striking too. We've seen him get a lot better. We saw that he used to throw, like, man, these overhand left hands that he used to shoot when he first came in, man, they looked labored. They looked awkward. They looked, like he didn't really believe in himself when he was shooting, man. He was just using them to kind of control the distance, wanted to let his opponent know that they were there, but really it was all about the wrestling. That was it. He wanted to come in there, shoot a double leg on you, put you on your back, and beat you up. 15 minutes later, he wins the fight. Right? That was his thing. To the point of being considered boring. To the point that he had to put on this whole kind of character, this whole kind of spiel, this thing where he's the bad guy now. He's in Brazil saying it's a dump, talking bad about Brazilian people and all this kind of stuff after the Damian Maia fight, and then everything changed. Now all of a sudden he's a little bit more marketable, a little bit more gimmick. He's able to go. But he was always a super, super, super hard worker. Always incredibly talented, always in the gym. So this just bought him more time to continue to develop his craft. So he comes in with the garbage striking, but he continues to work on it. And we've seen him get a lot better. He's able to go in there and he's able to land good strikes against guys like Rafael Dos Anjos. Right? We're able to see him in there and get good strikes off against Usman. Man, he staggered Usman in their first fight. He was able to go in there and land good left hands, good counter right hooks. You know, it's not, his striking game isn't super polished. His kicks don't come off really smooth and they don't have a lot of power. You know, he's not able to work in these great combinations. He's got a few things that he does and he does it well. He's got a decent little jab, but really it's about the overhand left, follows it up with the right hook. You know, he just does those things. He does them well, but really they appear better than they are because of his wrestling. That threat of the wrestling is so much, man. His wrestling is so dominant. He gets into a clinch. He gets in on a double leg or a single leg. He's able to get guys down. When he gets them down, he's able to keep them down. The wrestling is so dominant and people are so worried about it that it opens up the striking. So even though his striking seems a little bit rudimentary at times, he's able to get it off. How's that going to play against Masvidal, though? All right, now Masvidal isn't a wrestler, but I know he believes in his defensive wrestling ability. I know we saw him get up off the ground from Usman taking him down. I think he's got a high enough fight IQ that he knows that if all he's worried about is Colby Covington's taking him down and being this dominant wrestler, that it's gonna tie up his offense, that it'll shut down Masvidal's offense, and he knows that if he needs to win, he's gonna have to take chances. If he knows that he needs to win, he's gonna have to let his hands go. I don't think Colby can stand with Masvidal. Definitely not a 5-round fight. If this was a 5-round kickboxing match, Masvidal all day, he would be an overwhelming favorite. But it's not. It's an MMA fight. So even though I don't think that, we could see Colby Covington be successful standing and striking with Masvidal for 25 minutes, I think that we can see him successful standing and striking with Masvidal in an MMA match for moments in time. A minute here, 2 minutes there, because he's mixing in the wrestling, because he's working good in the clinch, because he's doing these other things, because the threat of the other things are there even when he's not doing it, because he's been successful with them a few minutes ago. It's all going to make his striking better. It's all going to keep Masvidal just focused on things that are just not that left hand and not that right hook, so that they can be a little bit successful, so that he's able to back him up a little bit with the jab, possibly get him against the cage and do good work there. Right? It's all about how everything comes together. So yeah, he'll be able to stand with him a little bit. But you'll know right away if he's standing with him too long, because Masvidal will light Colby Covington up, in my opinion, when they're standing on the feet. He's just far too advanced. His striking game is far too good. I see him being able to shine in these moments. Now, is that going to be enough to win the fight? That's a whole different story. There's a whole lot that goes into it. As it gets a little bit closer, going to break down, do an analysis and prediction on it, kind of break down the ins and outs of how I think everything is going to go and where each man's going to match up. But I can tell you right now that striking-wise, Covington is going to have to be very judicious about where and when he decides to stand on his feet. So let me know what you guys think. Am I giving Colby Covington a little bit too much credit on this one? Is Masvidal just going to be able to kind of get work done at will when he wants to on the feet? Or am I thinking about it all wrong? And who knows, man? Maybe after he got starched that last time from Usman, Colby Covington sees something. Sees a way that he can also deceive Masvidal into thinking one thing looks like another, so that he can come in there and just land a ferocious shot and get him out of there. Who knows? Let me know what you guys think.